Hello everybody, Max here. It has been a while that I have uploaded a video because I was working on all the projects. I also had some issues with my computer. In the meantime I installed a new SSD card and also a new cooler on my processor. But okay, that has been done. I also worked on some tweaking and balancing of the Eylau 1807 game on Tabletop Simulator. As you can see here, for the French, the victory conditions were a bit changed. The second one, the French player can lose when he loses the French 4th corps and the French 7th corps. So when both of them are destroyed, he can lose the game at the end of any turn, but the coalition has to control at least one strong point. So that means that if the French have still 3 strong points under their control, they do not lose the game at that point yet. Also made some tweaking on the victory conditions of the coalition. The third one, the coalition player can also win the battle at the end of any turn when 4th corps and 7th corps are destroyed, but the coalition player has to control all strong points. That was also a change that was made. Also on the activation cards I have made some changes, and most of them were on the French side. So here we have the 4th corps and the 7th corps, and they had an action that they could stand or hold their ground. This one action was removed because the French have to be very offensive, have to be on the attack to win. So a defensive action didn't make much sense. And I also added an extra card, activation card for the French commander. And so he has 4 now instead of 3, and also for the French cavalry. Also made the Imperial Guard a bit stronger against the Russian reserve. So all these kinds of balancing and tweaking to improve the gameplay was made in the latest version of Eylau 1807. Also made some slight changes on the bot seats, made it a bit more diverse. Another change I made, which is not a big change, but the commanders now on both sides, coalition and French, can now be played each turn. You can see that in the summary of rules. You cannot use the same formation twice in a row. In the original tabletop version, that also was applicable for the commander. That's why I had 3 discs, but I've reduced them to 2 because the commander can now be played each turn. So that was also a small change, and all this is reflected in an update of the rulebook. As you can see, there's also a new front cover, and it's all reflected in the rulebook. And another addition I made was introducing an alternative play where you have a hand of cards instead of a track of cards, where you can choose any one of these activation cards. You now have a hand of cards with a limited number of cards, so you can choose 8 if you play as a beginner, 7 if you're more experienced, and 6 if you are a really very experienced player. And you have to choose one of these 6 cards to play. And the difference in the rules is that you can see it here in red, that you cannot use the same formation twice in a row. This rule does not apply anymore in the alternative play when you're using a hand of cards. So these were the changes made. Like I said, it was mostly tweaking and balancing. And to demonstrate the changes, I will do a playthrough of the alternative play in the second part of this video. So let's have a look at that. And for this playthrough we have chosen the French side, and we are going to select a bot opponent, and we have selected the veteran difficulty, as you can see on the top right corner. And before we can start the battle, we have to determine the reinforcements here on the reinforcement track, and for that we have to roll with the conventional 6-sided die, and we first roll 4 3rd corps, and they will arrive on turn number 2. So we put them on the track, and we see it here, it's captured by the script. 3rd corps is here on turn number 2. Then we roll for the Prussians. We have a 5, 2 plus 5 is 7, so the Prussians will arrive at turn number 7. Yeah, so both of them, 2nd and 7, that's okay. And now we are going to roll a 3rd time for the arrival of the 6th corps, and that is 6 turns later. So 7 plus 6 is 13. So 6th corps will arrive at turn 13, and you're on 12 for the moment. It's not good, it's over here. And we see it here in the displayed in the chat window. Turn 13 for 6th corps. Okay. And that ends the use of the conventional 6-sided die. For the rest of the game we use the 7-sided die. And before we start, let's have a look in detail at the alternative play. So instead of using the card track, as we can see here, we will shuffle the activation cards of the commander and the formations that are on the board and place them face down in front of us. So 6th corps and 3rd corps are not yet on the board, so we will not shovel them in a card deck yet. We will do that from the moment that they enter the battlefield. And then we have to deal 8 cards, 7 or 6 cards. We will play with 7 cards. This is the standard play. And we also see here that each turn you choose one of the activation cards in your hand. Yeah, that's normal. And of course more in case of a coordinated attack or when we use a special ability of Napoleon. And then when formations enter the board, we shuffle their activation cards in the card deck. Okay, that's clear. And then in this alternative play, the rules are that we cannot play the same formation twice in a row are no longer valid. This is also indicated here on the summary. We already saw that the rule of using the same formation twice in a row does not apply in the alternative play. But what we also have to notice is that during a turn the player can select any of the cards in his hand, even if it activates the same formation twice in a row. Okay, the commander card, that's important, is somewhat different in that it can activate any formation of which you have no cards in your hand, but still have units on the board. And this also means that Napoleon can activate the artillery if no fire artillery cards are in your hand, but even if these artillery activation cards are still in your deck. So you have to look at what's in your hand before you can decide, can I play another formation with the commander card or can I activate the artillery. And if the player cannot play any valid activation card, he has to discard one activation card and pass for the turn. And then the opposite side action is carried out and the player draws another activation card. So it's actually a card we play, but we choose, but we don't play. So this is in very short the rules when you play in the alternative play. So we're going to apply them now in this playthrough. But before we do that, we have to put up our deck. We see 6th corps is not yet on the battlefield. So 6th corps, not, but the 4th corps we have cavalry, we have 7th corps. 3rd corps is not yet on the battlefield. We have Napoleon. We have the Imperial Guard. Oh, we have to take all of them, all 3 of them. Yeah. Then we have the reserve and artillery. They are also present. Then we flip them and then we have to give them a good shovel. And we put them over here, why not? And now we are going to draw 7 of them because we play with a hand of 7 cards. And what cards do we have? You can see it over here. We have cavalry, we have reserve, fire artillery, 7 core, cavalry charge again. Oh, 3 cavalry charge cards and 1 4th core. Okay. Also see it over here. Fire artillery, that's a conventional start. But I'm going to use the reserve to already proactively add 2 units to 7 core. 7 core here is only consists of 3 units. So let's start with that. And we see here the solitaire sequence of play. The player chooses an activation card and 1 action, which we did. So we're going to add 2 units to the 7 core from the reserve. And the second step is that we have to roll 1 die to determine the bot action. And the bot action is always played before the player action. We know that. So now we roll for turn number 1. It can also be seen over here on the turn track with the pawn. We roll first time for the opponent bot side coalition, and they roll 6, and that means Russian center. If Eylau is French controlled, attack Eylau with -1 die roll modifier. So the Russian center will attack Eylau, which is French controlled, and for that we have to roll. And they have a 3, -1 is a 2, 3 minus 1 is 2, and that's 1 hit coalition, and they did not manage to take Eylau. So they lost 1 infantry unit, so that's not too bad start for us. And now we're going to play our action, which is actually step number 4. We have played the bot action in step number 3, and now we're going to play the selected card action and any bot action effect. But there is no bot action effect on our play, so we're going to reinforce 7 core with 2 infantry units. Then we discard this activation card. We don't have to use the discs anymore to indicate which card we played, because we can play formations twice in a row, no problem. So what did we do? Okay, we discarded, and then we go to the next turn, turn number 2, and now 3rd core has arrived. So 3rd core has arrived. So first we have to put the infantry on the battlefield, and 3rd core has 5. Okay, so 5 infantry units have arrived. 3rd core, and now we also have to add these 4 activation cards to the deck, and again we have to shuffle. Okay, and now we have to draw 1 card, because we are playing with a hand of 7, and we draw Napoleon. Okay, so we have not 3rd core we can activate, because we have no 3rd core. Napoleon could activate 3rd core because we have no 3rd core in our hand, as you can see here. Even if there are 3rd core activation cards still in the deck, but this is the rule that you can use for the alternative play. The same goes for the artillery. If we have no artillery cards in our hands, but we have one, so then we cannot activate the artillery via Napoleon. We have to do it with this card. So why not use the artillery, fire at the left wing, the Russian left wing over here. Okay, that's our choice. Now we're going to roll for the opponent, and he has a 1, and that means Bennigsen is activated. Use the tactical events table. Okay, we are going to roll a second time, and we have a 6. Bolster the left flank. If the Russian left wing or Russian center has taken casualties, add 1 unit from the Russian reserve to the impaired formation with the least remaining units. Now the center is impaired, they already lost 1 unit, the left wing is still intact, so we have to reinforce the center with 1 unit of the Russian reserve. Okay, that's what we did, and now we're going to fire at the left wing with our artillery. For that we have to roll, and we have a 7. Oh. This is disappointing. See, 7, no effect, as we can see on the activation card, so no hits, and that means that we have to go to the next turn, turn number 3, and we have to draw another card. And again we have Napoleon. So now we could activate artillery with Napoleon, because we have no artillery, fire artillery activation cards in our hand. That would be a possibility. Even if there are still, we know there are still artillery activation cards in the deck. But are we going to do that? We have a lot of cavalry. Well, they already have 5. Maybe let's have the cavalry attack the Russian right wing over here. Okay, that's our choice. Let's roll for the opponent. And he has a 4. A 4 is Russian right cavalry. Attack the French 4th Corps with +1 die roll modifier. So this is the right cavalry attacking the French 4th Corps with +1 die roll modifier. And we roll a 1, and a 1 becomes a 2. And that's 1 hit coalition, so they lose 1 cavalry unit. That's lucky for us. And now we're going to attack with the cavalry, the French cavalry, on the Russian right wing. And there we go. We can also do a manual roll, but let's do it like this. We have a 2, and that means 1 hit coalition. So they lose 1 infantry unit. Yeah. And we have to discard the French cavalry activation card. Go to the next turn, turn number 4. And we have to draw another activation card. And that's the reserve. Still no 3rd Corps, because I would like to take one of the strong points. I could use again the cavalry charge, no problem, because we can use formations 2 times in a row if we want. We also have 4th Corps, 7th Corps. Yeah, not so easy. Okay, let's use 7th Corps to try to take Serpalem. And we are going to use Napoleon to obtain a -1 die roll modifier. We have a +2 here, so it's reduced to a +1. Attack Serpalem with 7th Corps. Okay, that's our choice. For turn number 4, we roll for the opponent. And he has a 7. And a 7 means Prussians or artillery. There are no Prussians on the board yet, so it's artillery. We have to roll 1 7-sided die and apply the result. So we roll, and we have a 2. And a 2 means 1 hit to the French 4th Corps. So we lose 1 unit over here. Okay, so we have 3 left. And now we're going to attack with the French 7th Corps on Serpalen with a +1 die roll modifier because of the presence of Napoleon increasing morale. And we have a 2 +1 is a 3. 1 hit French, 1 hit coalition, 1 hit French, 1 hit coalition. So that means that we take Serpalen and we use that 1 unit that we lose to indicate that Serpalen is now French controlled. All in all, not a bad play. Go to turn number 5. And now we have to draw 2 cards because we play 2. Another 7th Corps and a 3rd Corps. Okay, now we could use 3rd Corps to attack the left wing. Because Serpalen is now under our control, we have not a +1 die roll modifier disadvantage, so let's do that. But first roll for the opponent. And we have a 7. Again, Prussians or artillery. Prussians are not yet on the battlefield, so it's a Russian artillery opening fire. And they have a 2 again. So that's a hit on the French 4th Corps again. It's another 1 French infantry unit. We will have 2 left. And now we are going to attack with 3rd Corps on the Russian left wing. And there we go. And we have a 5. And luckily we did not have the +1 die roll modifier disadvantage, so that means 1 hit French and 1 hit coalition. Okay. And now we're going to discard and go to turn number 6. And we have to draw another activation card. It's again Napoleon. See, it's a bit another method of playing. We have the reserve, so I'm going to reinforce 4th Corps, because losing 4th Corps and 7th Corps is one of the lose conditions. I'm going to add 1 or 2 units. Yeah, I'm going to add 2 units, but first roll for the opponent. Again 7. Again the artillery. Russian artillery opens fire. And we have a 2 again. So that means that 4th Corps again takes a hit. Okay. Now we play the reserve. So we put there again 2 units. So they again have 3. And we go to the next turn. Turn number 7. The Prussians have arrived. Okay. First we are going to draw another card. Ooh. Reserve again. And we have to add the Prussians on the board, which are the black units. Okay. Yeah. 7th Corps, 4th Corps, cavalry. Reserve. Cannot do anything with that card. We have no reserve anymore. Let's choose counterattack. We have a -1 die roll modifier advantage with that, but it depends a bit on what the opponent does, if this is successful or not. So let's roll for the opponent. He has a 2. 2 means the Russian right wing. If Solitaire is coalition controlled, which is the case, then they attack the French 4th Corps if the right wing has more units than the French 4th Corps. And they have 4 and we have 3. So they will attack the French 4th Corps. And there we go. And it's a 1. Oh, 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 that's a very bad attack by the coalition, by the Russians. They lose 2 hits. So they lose 2 units, sorry, they have 2 hits, lose 2 units. And on top of that, there will be a counterattack by the French cavalry because we are attacking the we are charging actually the attacking infantry or cavalry formation. So it was the right wing infantry that attacked, and we will attack with a -1 die roll modifier. And let's see what, ooh, at almost a 7 is now a 3, -1 is a 2, so they lose another infantry unit. So this was a very good turn for us. We took out 3 units of the right wing in 1 turn. That was a very good play. And now we go to turn number 8, and we have to select another unit. And that's the Imperial Guard. And that opens some possibilities, because I would like to take Sloditen, or should I wait for the 6th Corps to arrive, but this is still some time. We'll wait a bit. I could again use my cavalry, no problem in alternative play. But I have not 3rd Corps. I could activate 3rd Corps with Napoleon, because I don't have 3rd Corps in my hand. Or 7th Corps. 7th Corps could also attack the Russian left wing. It's a bit tricky, but let's do that. Let's attack with 7th Corps the Russian left wing. But first, as per usual, roll for the opponent. And it's a 1. And that's again Bennigsen. Use the tactical events. Do another roll. And we have a 1 again. Confusing orders. Any French action is cancelled this turn. Okay. So, no action. And we go to turn number 9. And draw another activation card. Again, Imperial Guard. Ooh, they want us to activate the Imperial Guard, apparently. Yes. 4th Corps. Maybe in support doing something. Let's attack Sloditen with the Imperial Guard and have the 4th Corps in support. First time we use the coordinated attack, and that means that the +1 die roll modifier will be neutralized by the -1 die roll modifier because of the coordinated attack, the support of the 4th Corps on Sloditen, so no die roll modifier. And now let's roll for the opponent. And we have a 7, but this time there are Prussians on the board, so apply the first valid action. Attack Sloditen, no, because they're still in coalition hands, but attack Serpalen, yes, because it's in French hands, so the the Prussians will attack the strong point of Serpalen. For that we do a roll, and we have a 2, and the Prussians attack Serpalen with a -1 DRM, so it's actually a 1, and that means 2 hits coalition. Oh, very bad attack from the Prussians. They lose 2 infantry units, and that's good for us. Okay, and now we're going to perform our attack with the Imperial Guard on the strong point of Sloditen, and no die roll modifier because of the coordinated attack. And we have a 2, and that's good. That means 1 hit coalition, so we take the strong point without any French casualty. So we just have to mark it, and now we are controlling all 3 strong points. So that is quite good. And now you have to discard them, go to the next turn, turn number 10, and we have to draw 2 cards. Third Corps and Cavalry again. Okay, that was one of the changes now. We have 4 cavalry cards in our deck. Okay, now Third Corps can attack the left wing. That would be a good idea, because we have to take out at least 4 formations and control at least 2 strong points. And we already have the right wing, which only has 1 unit. So let's attack the left wing, Russian left wing, with Third Corps. That's our choice. Okay, let's roll for the opponent. It's a 7. It's again the Prussians. At least 1 Prussian unit is on the board. He will attack Sloditen with -1 DRM, because Sloditen in the meantime it has been captured by the French. So we roll for the Prussians. 7 -1. That's a 6. That's 1 hit French. Oh, and we lose the strong point. And the strong point is now taken by the Prussians, and without any loss. So that was a good attack by the coalition. And now we are going to attack the left wing with Third Corps, the Russian left wing. And we have a 5, and that's 1 hit French, 1 hit coalition. Slowly grinding our way towards hopefully victory. And there we go. We go to turn number 11 and draw another card, and we again have Third Corps. We could play Third Corps again, no problem, but in the meantime, yeah, we lost Sloditen. Reserve. We only have 6 cards actually, but it is the reserve here. Can't use reserve. Cavalry, Napoleon. We could use Napoleon to fire artillery, because we have no artillery on our hands. We could fire artillery with Napoleon. Let's do that on the left wing. Okay, and here you see the difference between the playing with the track and playing with the hand of cards, because there's still artillery in the deck, and we use Napoleon now even to activate the artillery. We can do that no problem in the alternative play. We have a 3, and that's the Russian left wing. If Serpalen is French controlled, which it is, attack Serpalen with -1 DRM. Okay, the attack with -1 die roll modifier. And we have a 5, -1 is a 4, and that's 1 hit French, 1 hit coalition. So we lose the point again, and they lose 1 unit, and we use that to indicate that they have taken Serpalen, retaken Serpalen actually. Okay, so in a short time they have retaken both strong points. Now we're going to fire with artillery on the left wing. Let's roll. And we have a 3. And for that we have to look to artillery. You can see it here. A 3 is 1 hit. Yeah. So 1 hit on the Russian left wing. Okay, that was Napoleon. Turn number 12, draw another card, another Napoleon. Okay, we have 4 Napoleon cards now in the updated game. But we have Third Corps. Third Corps. Oh, the Imperial Guard. Imperial Guard attacks Serpalen. Well, let's have the third corps attack Serpalen. Yeah, let's have third corps attack Serpalen with the moral support of Napoleon, -1 DRM in any infantry or cavalry attack, so -1 DRM, so it's a +1 DRM die roll modifier disadvantage for them. Okay, let's see what the opponent does. It's a 7. Prussians or artillery have at least one Prussian is on the board, but Sloditen and Serpalen is coalition controlled, not French controlled for the moment. So is not valid. So we have to use the otherwise statement. So that means if no action is valid, you have to use the otherwise statement. So that means the artillery will fire. The Russian artillery, and they have a 3, and that means 1 hit to the French 4th Corps. Okay, we lose them, and now we're going to attack with the 3rd Corps with +1 die roll modifier on Serpalen. And we have a 2 +1 is 3, and that means that they take Serpalen again, retake it. With 3rd Corps we lose 1 unit, we use it to indicate that we have control over Serpalen. Now we still have again 2 strong points, which is the minimum we need to win the game. And 6th Corps has arrived now. Okay, we have to add 5 infantry units on the board. And what we do for 6th Corps. And there we go. There is 3rd one, 4th one, and the 5th one. The 6th Corps is complete. And we also have to shovel them in the deck. The 4 activation cards of 6th Corps. And there we go. Okay. And now we play 2 cards, so we have to add 2. And that's 2 times artillery. Okay. So we are at turn number 13. Artillery. Yeah. Cavalry charge. Why not? Cavalry charge on the Russian right wing. Yeah, let's do that. Cavalry charge on the Russian right wing. Okay, let's roll for the opponent. 2. And that's the Russian right wing. If Sloditen is French controlled, attack Sloditen, but it's not French controlled. The Prussians have it. If Sloditen is coalition controlled, attack the French 4th Corps if the right wing has more units than the French 4th Corps. This is not the case, they only have 1 unit. The French 4th Corps has 2 units. But there is another otherwise. Attack the French 6th Corps, and the French 6th Corps is on the board now, so they will attack the French 6th Corps, even if they only have 1 unit. So there we go. The Russian right. Oh, they have a 2. That means 1 hit coalition, so they lose their last unit. And now we were going to attack the right wing, but we may attack the Russian reserve if the Russian right wing, center or left wing is destroyed, but the Russian right wing is destroyed, so we can opt to attack the reserve with the cavalry, and that is what we are going to do, because the cavalry is very flexible, more flexible than the infantry. So they are going to attack the alternative target, which is the Russian reserve. and they have a 2, and that's also a very good roll, 1-hit coalition. So another Russian infantry unit bites the dust, and that ends our turn, and our cavalry is still intact. We go to turn number 14, and we have to add 1 card, and that's the 4th corps. And that could be a good card, but we don't have the 6th corps yet. That's could use it to support the 6th corps, but we don't have 6th corps. We could activate 6th corps with Napoleon. That's a possibility. Or we can use the Imperial Guard. Why not? Use the Imperial Guard, try to retake Solitaire with support of the 4th corps. Coordinated attack. So the +1 die roll modifier will be neutralized by the coordinated attack. And that's our choice. And now we go for the opponent. And what does he do? 4. And that's the Russian right cavalry will attack the French 4th corps with a +1 die roll modifier. Oh, they are going to attack the 2 infantry units of the 4th corps with a +1 die roll modifier. It's a 2 + 1 is 3. That's 1 hit French, 1 hit coalition. Oh, well. If we would have lost the French 4th corps, the Imperial Guard had to proceed with the attack on Solitaire, but without the support of 4th corps. But they still have the support, they still have 1 unit left. So now we roll for the attack on Solitaire with no die roll modifier. We have a 3. A 3 is 1 hit French, 1 hit coalition, so we take the point. But at the expense of 1 French Imperial Guard unit. And that ends the turn. Yeah, that was not too bad. Go to turn number 15, and we have to draw 2 cards because we used 2. And now we have the 6th corps, and the 6th corps is very well placed now to attack the Russian reserve, or they can attack the Prussians even if Solitaire is French controlled. Why not? Attack the Prussians. Yeah, that's our choice. We're going to roll for the opponent, and we have a 3. That's the Russian left wing. They still have 1 unit. If Serpalen is French controlled, attack Serpalen with -1 DRM, and Serpalen is indeed French controlled. So they're going to attack Serpalen with a disadvantage for the Russian of -1 DRM. 3 - 1 is 2. 1 hit coalition, they lose their last unit. Oh, this one did not go in the back. Okay, so we already have 2 formations completely destroyed. We're doing quite well. 6th corps is now going to attack the Prussians because Solitaire is French controlled. And we roll a 2. And that's a very good roll. 1 hit coalition. So also the Prussians have been destroyed. And that ends turn number 15. Start turn number 16. And we draw another card. And we have another 6th corps. And as you can see here, the first win condition is the only win condition. The French player has to at least hold 2 of the 3 strong points. And we have all 3 of them. So, and we already have to eliminate 4 of the 5 following coalition formations. So we already eliminated left wing, the right wing, and the Prussians. So artillery cannot fire at the reserve. So we continue with the 6th corps. We can do that. In this alternative play, attacking the Russian reserve because the right wing is destroyed. And first we are going to roll for the opponent. and that's a 2. That's the Russian right wing. Right wing already destroyed, so nothing is happening. And now we're going to attack. I'm going to do a manual roll on the Russian reserve. Ooh, that's a strange roll, but it's a roll. 3. And a 3 is 1 hit French, 1 hit coalition. So that's another Russian infantry unit for 1 French infantry unit of the 6th Corps. And we go to turn number 17. And we are going to draw another one card. And now we have the 7th Corps. Okay. If we want, we can continue with the 6th Corps. No problem. We have the cavalry. Yeah, why not? Attack with the 6th Corps. The reserve. Attack the Russian reserve if left wing or center is destroyed. They can support, why not? Let's do this. So they can attack the Russian reserve with the support of 7th Corps, and I can even support it with Napoleon. So in total we have a -2 die roll modifier because of Napoleon and because of the coordinated attack. This should be enough to win this battle. And just to remind, we only can have a DRM of -2 maximum for the French, so we cannot have more than -2, but we comply with that rule. So first we roll for the opponent, and it's a 5. Russian left cavalry attack the French 7th Corps with +1 DRM, so that's the first time the left cavalry is going into action. +1 DRM, they have a 3 + 1 is 4, so 1 hit French, 1 hit coalition. 1 hit coalition, 1 hit French, okay. And now the attack of the 6th Corps on the reserve with -2 DRM. And we have a 6 -2 is 4. Lucky we did the coordinated attack at least, also with Napoleon. So we have 1 hit French, 1 hit coalition, and there goes the last one of the Russian reserve at the expense of 1 infantry unit. And that means that we have won because we have all 3 strong points. We only need 2, and we have eliminated left wing, right wing, Prussians, and the reserve. So 4 formations on turn 17, and that means that we win this battle as the French in the Battle of Eylau 1807. Napoleon won this battle clearly in this game. So I hope you enjoyed the playthrough of this alternative play, but let me warn you, it's not always going that easy. If you want to support me, consider buying Eylau 1807 Solitaire at Wargame Vault. As you can see here on the screen, the link is in the description below this video, and this game book only cost $14 US or €12, and it's a print and play book. You just print it, and it's very relaxing to play it also on paper. Thank you very much for watching this video. See you the next time. Bye bye for now.